Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining me at the Channel for Healing podcast. This is Ashley Akers-Smith. I'm so happy you're here and you are right on time. So here's the thing, right? Like I've experienced what I've experienced in my life and I'm on this incredible journey that I will continue to be on forever, I hope, of healing myself and sharing that gift with the world and empowering other people to find the ways that work for them to heal themselves. But what it comes down to is I am my best healer, right? And I'm best equipped to help heal the person that I used to be. So that is oftentimes with this kind of work, somebody else. So when I can deliver these messages and share these incredible gifts, and the people that I'm reading have trusted me with the souls of the people that they love, it's incredibly fulfilling. I mean, I'm not really sure, I'll be honest, I'm not really sure I have words for it. It just is, it's what I was meant to do. I know this to be true now. It literally just like lights me up and fills me up in a way that um, I can't really find words for, to be honest with you. It's just my absolute passion is to, add value to other people and allow people to really feel valued, but more importantly, see their own value and their own worth. Once I'm long gone and the readings are over, and it's just really giving them the tools to kind of make those connections themselves. But just being able to deliver it and being chosen to share this gift with other people is incredibly rewarding. It's incredibly humbling. It's just a beautiful thing especially to have somebody that I don't know, to connect and share messages with those people, or even people that I do know, share things that like, they're so specific. These messages are so specific and somebody else can validate it. And you can literally see sometimes the weight leaving people, like the weight of what they're carrying, the heaviness of the emotional baggage that they're carrying leave their body. I mean, yeah, it's really beautiful. So for me, it works in several different ways. So when I started doing all this, inner work and shadow work and healing myself, I started to spend a lot of time, because a lot of unresolved feelings come up. So I started spending a lot of time doing meditation, and I just became very connected to source energy and the spirit world. But all that really means is really connecting to self and your higher being. So it allowed me to do that. So the way that I receive messages, like at first I really didn't know what it was, right? It was like, are those just my thoughts, or is someone really trying to talk to me? And I kind of shooed it away for a long time, even though I knew that, you know, um, my mom had similar abilities and I had similar abilities. It was never to the degree it is now. But I think it's because of the work that I've done has really allowed me to tap into that and to not question, judge, all those things. But I pushed it away for so long. And um, once I really decided to trust myself and not worry about what other people might think or how it might be received, and I started just like knee-jerk reaction, like, okay, I have to share this. Because for me, it's like a nagging feeling. Like if I don't, like, I remember when I first started getting these messages, if I wasn't reaching out to somebody and sharing it, and a lot of times it was not with people that I was even friends with. If I wasn't reaching out to them, sharing whatever messages I was getting from their loved ones that had crossed over, it wouldn't stop. Like it would be like a nagging feeling. And then I would just finally say, okay, I think this is not just my thoughts. Like this is more than this. This is like someone is trying to deliver messages to somebody. And I would reach out to somebody and they would be like, how do you know this? How do you know this? Like, I mean, these were not people that I even knew well. So, but I do receive messages in very different ways. So I hear things, I can, it's almost like a whisper, like a knowing, like someone's telling me something. And like if I was getting something for you right now, Rob, and I was like pushing it away and trying not to say it, they would not, they would be relentless in repeating it, saying it, repeating it. I often see pictures, like I could tell you, you have a picture of this, and I would say something very specific, who's in the picture, what people are wearing, where they are. But again, that's not, I give readings and people are like, thank you so much. It's not me, it's their loved ones. I'm just the channel that's delivering them and sharing them. And I'm tuned into my own intuition. Certain things and signs mean certain things for me, that when I then relay them, they can be validated in whatever way the person who's receiving the message, who like it makes sense for them. I think it goes back to fear. It's uncomfortable for a lot of people to think, it's hard to understand, right? Like if it's like seeing is believing, right? That's what everybody says. If you can't see it, it's hard for a lot of people really to believe it. So this work that I feel so passionate about doing now is really kind of just saying to people, listen, come as you are, whatever that looks like, right? I think a lot of people are so fearful to show up in the way, like whatever that looks like, their true authentic selves, because they're so fearful that people will judge. What will people think? How will I be um looked at? How will I be viewed? And that can be really scary. But what I've learned is, when I choose, and it's a decision, it is a decision to show up exactly as I am, flaws and all, and say, this is me. And I invite you to walk with me on this journey. Whatever that looks like, wherever you are in your journey right now. This work is so important to me because I've literally, and your wife is a perfect example, like literally watched it transform people. Like hearing messages and knowing that spirit is connected has literally healed heartbreak that I've seen people experience. And I take this work so very seriously, that I was chosen to share this and to develop this and to really tune into it and help people in whatever ways that I can. But my ultimate goal is, I'll do readings and small groups and those kind of things, one-on-one private readings. But my ultimate goal is really to give people the tools, show them how to tap into this themselves, so they are not relying on somebody like me, so that they can communicate with their loved ones that have crossed over whenever and wherever they want to. That's my ultimate goal, is that so people, not only am I helping people heal themselves, but I ultimately want people to be able to, um, do the work of healing themselves. Every individual journey is just that. It's very individual, it's very unique to each person. I know for me, for myself, I still have a lot to learn, and that is my goal, is that I'm always learning and growing and changing and unbecoming, like I mentioned earlier. Um, but it's like, for anybody who's read my blog that I started, you're right on time. We're right on time. It's not like we can't live with regret and say like, oh, I should have done this, or I should have done this. I wish I would have done that. Like, everything that we've done in our lives has served us for the greater good, even if they were low points in our lives. So if someone is, feeling held hostage by their emotions right now, or they feel like, pieces of them are unfamiliar, or they feel angry, the reality is we're all really just, for a long time, this is how I felt, we're lost on this journey of finding ourselves is the best way that I can really um put it. Like I was saying, when things were really in a low place for me, where I was really having difficulty navigating this abuse that I had experienced, and like, where do I put all these things, and how do I navigate this and really try to get rid of the anger that I have, and the blame, and um all of these emotions that just were not serving me at all. Um, I mean, really what happened is, like, it's like you lose your mind to find your soul, kind of. It's like you're upside down in all of these different emotions. But that specific journey really is just a guide to finding yourself. Um, so for me, I feel like, I have to remind myself sometimes, like, oh, it doesn't matter what people's judgments are of me. Like, sometimes I can get caught up and think, like, oh gosh, like, do I want to be vulnerable? But I always go back to, now, this is, it's my calling to show up as my authentic self so that other people have the courage to do the same. No one is going to do that unless other people start to do it, and they feel like this safe space is created for them. So for me, it's so important to really not only create that space for other people and create it for myself, right? Because we're always looking at external things to try to, like, kind of validate us or acknowledge the things that we've experienced. So for me, I've learned that that space is created with me. It's not created with other people. They won't create that space for me. I have to create it for myself. And the way that I create it for myself is showing up. And the way that I can create some sort of safety for other people to create that for themselves is to really hold space for them. So what I mean by that is, like, when someone is sharing their journey, it is really listening without judgment. It's really showing up with empathy and compassion, and acknowledging somebody's experience that I may know nothing about. That it really is just holding that space, that unique space for somebody. Here's what I want to start by saying, right? Like, you can't just, like, jump into this work and just, like call out and, like, someone's going to respond. There has to be, like, here's I want to be really intentional when I say this. Um, the opposite of connection is control, and vice versa. So, like, for me, example, growing up the way that I did and experiencing the things that I did, I grew up very, like, hyper vigilant, very fearful, right? And I always say, like, a life lived in fear is a life half lived. That's really how it was. So I was trying to control things in my life to create a sense of safety, feel protected, right? Because I experienced things that didn't allow me to feel that way when I was, growing up and into my teens. And that carried on through adulthood. So once I started to release control, that kind of control, and really stop trying to manage everything and everyone in my life, it started to create a different sense of connection with people here in the physical world, people I'm in relationships with, friendships, family, um, but also then in the spirit world. So I think if somebody really wants to tap into that kind of energy, that would be my first piece of advice, is that you really have to get out of your head and get into your heart and release that control, because that kind of control, feeling like you have to control, manage emotions, other people's, including yours, like, that is not going to serve you. When you really surrender to that and lean fully in, and I don't mean like halfway in, I mean lean all the way in. Like, when somebody activates you, you're not even questioning what their response, reaction, or anything is. It's really looking inward and looking at that mirror that's shining back at you. It creates a different kind of connection, and that's what happened with me. Here's the thing. I think when it comes to this work, a lot of people, some people are skeptical, or a lot of people have a hard time really wrapping their brain around the concept of all of this, and connecting to the spirit world. Um, I think I stopped, and I was one of those people, but I think I stopped really getting out of my head and started getting more into my heart. Because the longest trip sometimes is from your head to your heart, right? Um, and it can be a scary thing to like start hearing spirit and saying, okay, I'm not going nuts, this is what this really is, right? But I just really leaned into it and started like asking questions. And when I would meditate, I would ask my spirit guides and my angels, like, please allow me to see and hear the things that will either serve me well on my journey for healing or help serve other people. And the more that I asked for those doors to be open and for those things to be brought in, the more that they were, and the clearer the messages were, and the more specific and accurate things were. When I stopped kind of really just connecting to source energy and kind of got out of my own head and really leaned into what I was hearing, it just became very, very clear. But I do consciously ask for my guides and my spirits and my angels to really show me a clear path to provide me the tools that I need to help serve as many people as possible on their journeys, and to help heal people, to deliver messages that will be good intended, and help people in whatever way they need. Because the reality is that spirit shows up for people. Like if I'm just like walking in the mall or something and I see somebody that needs a message, I say that intentionally. They need a message. Their past loved ones or spirits from the other side are using me as a channel to connect with them and to deliver this message, because they know their loved ones need to hear it. It's not like I'm just like, oh, Aunt Sally says hi. And like, it's really because that person that's here in the physical world is really like, something is holding them back, connected to this spirit or soul that's crossed over, and they really need to hear a specific message or validation to know that there is really no death. There is just transition from the physical world to the spirit world. It does not have to be in person. I will meet with somebody privately, one-on-one, small group, can be virtual. I do I've done a lot of readings over text message or Facebook Messenger. It's really, if I can connect with you in some way to get these messages across, like however I connect with another person in the physical world doesn't really matter, as long as I'm receiving, I don't receive the information any differently. The skeptics are my favorite, because there are just things that I would never know. Like, would be literally impossible for me to be able to know about people. Like, especially the people that I've never met in my life. Like, I don't have the kind of time to be like researching and telling people fake things. So, um, nor do I have the desire to do that. But I love the skeptics, because the ultimate goal is that spirit wants the people in the physical world to know without question that they are always with them, that they are always with them, that they are not, when we lose someone close to us, we're like, oh my gosh, I wish they were here for this. Like, I wish they could see what I'm doing. I wonder if they're proud of me. Like, those are all the questions, right, that we ask ourselves. Spirit shows up to remind us that there really is no death, that really it is just, soul is energy. We literally go from our soul energy being in a body to our soul energy just being without the physical body in the spiritual world. It just is soul energy that translates. So everything is energy, everything. So yeah, so I love the people that are so on board and like love this and just like can't get enough of it. But I also really love the skeptics because I love seeing their minds blown, to be honest with you, once I share things that they would have absolutely no idea about. And, they just like, there's no coincidence. Like I always say, coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. It's not like spirit just will come in and I can say like I'm not going to allow you to come in right now. Like I've learned how to do that, which I didn't know how to do that for a long time. And I remember my husband Mike being like, can we just like finish this movie? Or it was like inopportune times they were coming and they were like, it was like for hours and hours. But now I can kind of say like I need I'll deliver this message later or something, and then I'll kind of step back. But yeah, I love everybody on the whole spectrum who is like fully on board and wants to immerse themselves in it and learn more. And I really like the skeptics too. But ultimately, this work is so important to me because I've literally and your wife is a perfect example, like literally watched it transform people. Like hearing messages and knowing that spirit is connected has literally healed heartbreak that I've seen people experience. And I take this work so very seriously that I was chosen to share this and to develop this and to really tune into it and help people in whatever ways that I can. But my ultimate goal is, I'll do readings and small groups and those kind of things, one-on-one private readings. But my ultimate goal is really to give people the tools, show them how to tap into this themselves so they are not relying on somebody like me, so that they can communicate with their loved ones that have crossed over whenever and wherever they want to. That's my ultimate goal, is that so people, not only am I helping people heal themselves, but I ultimately want people to be able to, do the work of healing themselves. Hey guys, I really want to thank you for walking with me today. Thanks so much for trusting me with your time and with your energy. I hope you keep showing up. And I want to remind you, there will always be room for you here. If I've added value to you of any kind today, I ask that you subscribe, like, comment, and share this podcast and this episode with someone that really matters to you. You can learn more about me at thechannelforhealing.com. That's where you'll find client testimonials, my blog. You'll learn more about the services that I offer, as well as how to contact me. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and on Instagram as well at The Channel for Healing. As always, I'm grateful for you. Until next time, friends.